Hello, friends. How are you doing today? Really, how are you? My name is Kirsty, and this Is It Expired? So I'm going to start this off by saying I have been sick for like a week. So if I sound a little stuffed up, I sound a little weird, and don't quite look like myself, it's because I have been fighting a little bit of a cold for about a week. And it just doesn't want to leave me. It's just doing its thing. So at this point, we've just joined forces, I guess. Here is my disclaimer as always. Please don't use expired makeup. I know what the potential consequences could be. Taking the risk for myself, don't do what I do. It has been a couple weeks. I took last week off. And the reason being is the only day I got ready was Christmas Day when we went to a friend's home for dinner. So, one day of the whole week, it has been so nice to just have some days off to relax and recoup, which of course is when I get sick. If I'm not busy, my immune system shuts down, I immediately get sick. I don't know how that happens, but it always seems to. With this episode, it is the last episode of 2024. We are there. It is crazy. So I'm going to end this episode with just a couple numbers as to where my collection is standing. I am a little stuffed up, I can hear it, as well as my goals for 2025. So stick around or just scoot to the end if you want to hear about it. It is what it is. But let's backtrack to a couple weeks ago to see what I had pulled. Let's start here. This is my Shop Miss AOA Studio Flawless Setting Powder in the shade Fair. It's like a Givenchy knockoff. It has green, pink, blue, and purple, and it kind of just mixes together, and it's supposed to just, I don't know, even out the skin tone. It's fine. I have nothing against it. This is probably about a year old. I want to say I got this at the beginning of 2024. End of 2023 maybe, but it's fine. This is something, it's quite small. It's something I'm going to use up, so whatever, it's going home. It is not phenomenal, but it works. It does the job. Then here I have my ColourPop Happy Thoughts Super Shock Cheek. It's a highlight. It is a little bit dark for my skin tone, so I used it more as a blush topper, as well as on my eyes a few times. So I did have fun with this. It has teeny tiny little dip, which as we know is not the hardest thing to do with ColourPop Super Shocks because they kind of just mush, but it was nice. It was nice to use. I've had this for, I want to say, about 4-5 years. I don't know, it was decluttered to me, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, and then so I don't know how old it is. Probably like 5 or 6 years old, but it seems fine, works fine. I had no issues. It's gonna go home. Then here, let's go real old. This is my Guerlain Summer Shadow in Blue Ocean. This is like 10 years old, and it is a cream product. Terrifying, I know. But I had no issues with it. I actually used it pretty much every single day as a base, and I loved it. I did get one look. I will pop that up here. I know we're not quite at the end yet, but generally I kind of do it with the eye that I pulled, which was this guy. And you know what? I think it's just gonna go home for now because I didn't react. There was no itchiness. My eyes didn't water, and I enjoyed using it. So I'm just gonna put him back. All right, and then we're gonna reverse here. This is from 2024. Makeup Forever HD Skin Smooth and Blur Undetectable Concealer. Yep, that's right. In 1.3N. This is new. I have no issues with it. It's a really good color for me, especially in the winter when I am quite fair. I like it. I do. So it's just going to go back. Concealers are going to be something I really focus on in 2025, I think. I think I'm going to try and get 4 or 5 out of my collection. I don't know if this is going to be one because it is one of the newer ones in my collection, but I don't have a lot of super old concealers in my collection either, which is great. So this is going to go home, and it's just going to get a lot of love next year. And last, this is probably 6 years old. I want to say about 6 years old. This is my NYX Liquid Suede in the shade Sway. I use this in a variety of different ways. I use it on my eyes. I use it on my cheeks. I use it on my lips. I missed. I have no depth perception when I am not looking in front of me. If I'm looking at the screen, nada, zippo. This was fine. I like it. The shade is really, really unique. So for a lip color on its own, it was like a little too much, but pairing it with other lip products, using it as a cream blush, and even using it on the eyes, I had fun. It was a good time. So this is going home. It doesn't smell like anything. I don't know why I'm doing that. I can't smell anything. I am so stuffed up. if anything smells, I'm hooped for the next few days. I will find out the hard way if it's gone bad. This is gonna go home though. And that is last 2 weeks ago. That is 2 weeks ago. And yeah, everything got lots of love. I got ready about 5 or 6 times with those products. So a lot of good use, a lot of playing with things to make sure they were okay, use things in a lot of different ways. So good week, fun week. And we're just going to move right along to this week. This week had a really funny theme, which again, I use a random number generator, right? So I have all of my product in a spreadsheet and I just use a random number generator and pick 5 items. So the fact that this like themed is very weird. The random number generator knew what it was doing, I think. This is the only thing that is not within theme, but it works because it is a beautiful neutral palette, which makes everything else work. This is my Hourglass Modernist eyeshadow palette in Infinity. This is super old. This is probably about 10 years old. I got it when I worked at Sephora, so it is very, very old. But the shadows are still gorgeous. They still perform beautifully. They still blend out beautifully. And it's just a nice neutral palette. There are 4 mattes with 1 shimmer in the middle. My biggest issue with this, and the reason why I think I don't grab it very much, is the fact that they're all in one pan. And I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. Is that weird? It's weird for me. But the fact that they're not in separate pans kind of makes me feel like if I get too deep on one, the rest is just gonna kind of shatter. I don't know if that's the case. I don't think I've seen anybody pan one of these. Again, they're so freaking old at this point. No one probably has them anymore, but that's just my fear. Like if I get, let's say, a little tiny pan in here, is everything else going to kind of crumble because it doesn't have the structure anymore? I don't know, but I do really like this. So that's just my one thought. That's how my brain works, but I am excited to use it for the week because I love a good neutral palette if I can play with other things, and I get to play with other things. Struggling here, guys. Okay. This is my Suva Beauty Hydra FX liner in Acid Trip, which, as you can tell, I double lined with today, which is probably what I'm going to be doing because it is not only neon orange, it's a blacklight color. So, first of all, it's a UV, which, same thing, right? It shows up in blacklight. It is, you can use it for body art, you can use it for, like, face paint. I am not one that goes to clubs very often, so that particular component is not necessary for me, but I love a good bright orange, and I'm excited to use it. This was not my last Suva purchase. I think this is my first one, which I think was only 2023, so this is about a year and a half old. I love these. I am obsessed with these. I don't love them enough. They don't get enough love, but they're so fun to play with. I love a good double wing. And yeah, I don't go crazy with a lot of artwork, especially if I have to go to the office. That's a little much for me. But for a double wing, like, it's subtle enough that you can wear it out and people are going to be like, hey, that looks cool, but it's not over the top. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to use this. And you know what? I am going up for New Year's, so I don't know if I'll do anything like too crazy. I might still just do a double wing. We'll see, especially because it's orange, which is not exactly a New Year's color. This is more of a Halloween thing, but I love these. So excited to use this for the week. And you are going to notice the theme of this week is orange. Orange. Not the right season for this, but I'm here for it regardless. This is my Stila Convertible color in Gladiola. So this is a lip and cheek cream. I love these. This is about 10 years old, but I did also used to have the Stila Field of Flowers or Field of Florals. I can't remember what it was called. The Convertible color palette. Now that came with 12 different shades, and a couple of them had started getting like spots on them, and I'm pretty sure it was probably mold. So that got thrown in the trash a couple of years ago, which was a bummer. I really liked it, but if it looks different, I'm not putting it on my face. This has not had that yet. There is a dent in it. It gets lots of love. I don't know. It wasn't, I think Gladiola was in there, but I don't know. It was like the purples that started to get spotty. And I don't know if it was just oxidization or if it was mold spots. Didn't want to test it, didn't want to figure it out, so it did get chucked. But because this one still looks really nice, I don't have any weirdness happening, I still use this one. I really like it. It's beautiful. I am not actually using another blush. This is all I'm using today, and it's just stunning. It's so beautiful. So this is going to be a tough one for me to give up unless it's visually wonky or definitely smells funny. But again, I have no sense of smell right now, so who knows? It went on really beautifully. It blended out really beautifully, so we'll see what happens during the week. Oh, lordy, lordy. Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics. Who remembers this brand? They made waves, man. They made waves with the lip tars. Now, this is one of the stained glosses. It's not one of the lip tars specifically. I decluttered all of my lip tars last year, 2 years ago? I don't know, a while ago, because they smelled awful. For some reason, I have 2 of the stained glosses that did not have that scent. Now, again, I can't smell, so I don't know if this now has the scent, but it's smooth. It went on my lips really well. I just have like a lip liner underneath. So we're gonna see what happens and hope for the best, but I don't know. These are so old. These are probably, yeah, about 10 years old as well. But like I said, the other ones just, they stunk. They smelled so rotten. And the 2 glosses I have left at that time when I decluttered did not smell rotten. So I'm hoping when I get my scent back, my sense of smell, it smells okay. Or it's gonna go in the trash. Like, as of right now, it's not tingling. It doesn't feel weird on my lips. There was no chunky or clumpy or anything. So I think it's okay. But to be determined when I can breathe again. And last, again, orange. Everything is orange. I don't know why. This is the Milk Makeup Cloud Glow Primer. Now, this is strictly for novelty purposes, friends. It's just silly. That's the only reason I got it. Do I think it's a great primer? It's got a little bit of tack to it, which is kind of nice. I don't feel like it smooths out any pores or makes my makeup stay on longer. I just wanted this for novelty purposes, and it's because, if you don't know, it is it's a foaming primer, so it's fun. It's fun. I was gonna smell it again. It smells nice when I can breathe. This is brand new. I just got it, I don't know, a couple months ago. It feels nice and hydrating, which I kind of like on my skin too, but do I think it does enough as a primer? No. Do I think I'm still going to be able to use it up? Yes. So, oh well, it is what it is. I will use it for the week. I wish I could smell. But I do find that it has like just the teeniest bit of tack to it, which probably helps like make up a little bit. But I don't notice a drastic difference between when I'm wearing it and when I'm not. So it is what it is. And that's it. That's this week. A couple things I just want to go over since it is the end of 2024. What happened? Where did it go? Where was I that whole time? Couple numbers. 1, I was successful in spending less on beauty products this year than I was last year and in 2022. So I was successful. I spent less money than I have in the last couple of years, and I'm proud of that. I didn't go overboard. But that includes makeup, skincare, hair care, body care, self-care. So that's a little bit of everything. And I was pretty happy with that. And with that, I used up 45 makeup products, just makeup, strictly this zone, and I decluttered 13 makeup products. Now, I don't declutter unless there is a specific reason. Keep that in mind. I will not declutter unless something's wrong. It's dried up, or it smells funny, or it's just gone off. I generally don't like to declutter. That's who I am as a person. It is what it is. That's why I'm trying to use more of my stuff. But I feel like 45, using up organically 45 makeup products is amazing. Keep in mind, a lot of those are probably lip balms, but that's not the point. 45 items got out of my collection, which sounds great. But, so I pulled some numbers and I was able to determine that at the beginning of 2024, I had 815 makeup products. Now, every palette is an individual product, so I don't differentiate by how many items are in each palette. A palette is a palette. It's one item. 815 products. I counted again, end of 2024, moving on to 2025. I currently have 855 products. Now, with the math of using up 45 products and decluttering 13, it means 98 makeup products came into my life in 2024. Breathe, breathe. At least half of those were gifts or PR. So I didn't purchase at least half. I didn't do like numbers. I was not going to dig in that deep, but I know for a fact, like, my mother purchased like 15 lip balms that came in. Great. That was, I don't know where I think it was my Christmas gift last year. Just a schwack of lip balms. I have gotten quite a bit of PR in 2024. So that happens. And then just other gifts here and there have come into my life. So I'm not saying that's great, because it's absolutely not. 98 items is a lot. But I know that I didn't purchase all of them, or even probably half of them. So it is what it is. Moving on. Goals for 2025. Okay. And breathe. My goals for 2025. I only have two. I only have two goals. One, I want to organically use up 50 makeup items. I hit 45 this year. I want to hit 50 in 2025. And two, I want to bring less items in than I use up next year. So that's going to be tough, because I used up and decluttered, and that I keep them together. So altogether it was 58 items, but I brought in 98. Meaning there was a surplus of 40 freaking items. That's too much. So I want to use up more than I bring in 2025. And that's going to be the hard one for me. And the reason is, like, if I do a Shop Miss A order where everything's like $2, well, I usually pick up, 25 to 30 things. And they're not always all makeup. Like, I get my brush soap is from them, and I usually pick up like 10 when I do an order, because I only do usually an order per year. But that leaves 15 to 20 makeup items that end up coming into my collection. That's a huge chunk. That is so big. So I want to be more aware of the sheer volume that's coming into my collection, even if it's things like eyeliners and mascaras that, yes, I stock up on because I go through, but at this point, like, I should have enough to get through the year. I shouldn't need more next year. So those are my two goals. That's it. That's all. I feel like that's super attainable. I'm not worried about like monetary value or anything this year. That's not really an issue that I'm dealing with. Like I said, I did a lot better this year. So if I can focus more on just the volume that's coming in and the volume that's going out, it's going to be a good year. And that's everything. I hope you all had wonderful holidays, a Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and have the most wonderful of New Year's. And I will see you all next time.